Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Thank you very much for watching the channel. Do like and subscribe, that's down there if you'd be so kind. And don't forget tomorrow, that's the 9th of January, Tuesday the 9th of January at 7 p.m. here on Tales from the Jails. We're doing a live broadcast, so you can ask me questions live 7 p.m. tomorrow. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about why they can't recruit. They can't recruit anybody to the prison service, why they're having great difficulty getting prison officers to work in the jails. Apart from the fact it's a dirty, horrible, disgusting, filthy dungeons that they've got. Apart from that, and the fact that it's extremely dangerous, it's overrun with rats, and that's human rats as well. That's the drug addicts that will snatch you and corrupt you. And basically, one of the big reasons that they can't get people to work there is because the pay is crap. When you start off, a new recruit to the prison service is getting £18,000 a year. Yeah, 18,000. That's the start pay. Yeah, you get more than that if you were stacking shelves at Asda. Seriously. And the top rate for a basic grade prison officer is, I believe it's 24,000 or 25,000. Unlike a police officer, the top rate for a basic grade police constable is 40,000. Now, if we go back to 1974, when I applied to join the prison service, a prison officer was actually getting paid more than a police constable. Not a lot more, just a little bit more, but they're getting more. Now, the disparity is at over £10,000. I mean, they're basically getting paid the minimum rate. And it's across the board here. For the private sector that are running the jails, they're paying the basic minimum rate. And they wonder why prison officers are becoming corrupted. Well, apart from the fact that they're hiring teenage girls and running the hostess system, the fact that they're underpaying them, I mean, how on earth are you going to afford to rent? You won't be able to buy a place on wages like that, will you? I mean, it is ridiculous. I can't. It's hard to believe that they've allowed it to happen, and they've supposedly got a trade union. The Prison Officers Association is a trade union that's registered with the Certification Office, and it has a place on the Trade Union Congress, the TUC. Now, we go back 40 years, I think it is now, yeah, about that. 1978, 79, 80, when I was actively trying to promote an independent trade union called the Prison Force Federation, and which was registered with the Certification Office, had a certificate of independence, and was absolutely independent of its employer, really was. But the Prison Officers Association isn't. They have no regional offices. All the telephone accounts are paid for by the Home Office. They run the so-called trade union within the prisons using the prison system setup, the telephone setup in the prison system. All the offices are virtually within the establishments of its employer. So do not have a trade union. Let's be honest about this. It's a bloody joke. It's a staff association. And it's a staff association run by the management, for the management, set up by the government to control and maintain the authority of the management. Basically, that's it. And listen, if my trade union had actually succeeded, but they told everybody that I was a member of Colonel Gaddafi's Revolutionary Army. Imagine that, eh? And bloody staff believed it. Said I was some kind of communist who was out to destroy the prison system of Great Britain. I was trying to get a trade union that would actually enable the staff to be properly represented. And if I'd have been running the show, then as soon as they said, right, we're putting female prison officers in, I would say, yep, okay, you do that, but we ain't going in because it's dangerous. Do not do it. And then I just taken everybody out. I would have stood at the gate until they took them out, because they can't do it. Well, what they've done, the Prison Officers Association, they wouldn't do anything because they're basically management. And if the management decides that they get... listen, if they told them they had to wear bloody straw boaters, they'd all be walking around like the Eton boating song. They would. They'd do anything. Just strange people, in my opinion, yeah. So anyway, the recruits to the prison service are paid £18,000, and the top rate for a prison custody officer is £24,872. Basically, it's slightly enhanced of the minimum pay rate. Slightly enhanced. Now, how would you rent a house even with that? How would you do it? I mean, where I live, a standard, say, a 3-bedroom semi is going to cost you £800 a month to rent. So if you do that, and by the time you've done that and you've paid for your food and all that, you've got nothing left, have you? How do you bring up a couple of kids and look after a wife on that? You wouldn't do it. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing needs to be completely revamped. They need to look at it. They need to make it a purely professional career, which I believe it used to be 50 years ago. I mean, it was very difficult to get in. Nowadays, they've got a sign up on the gate. You know, would you like to be a prison officer? Knock here on the door. Come in. Yeah, get them keys there. Here's a big hat. Off you go, girl. Did you see? I mean, I'm not digressing now. Yeah. Did you see? You really want to know what the rates are for a police officer, don't you? I've been telling you what the rates are for a prison officer. A constable, yeah, with full servicing gets 40,000 a year. A police sergeant with servicing gets 46,000. And an inspector gets 55,000. Chief inspector 61,000. There's nowhere in the scale on the prison system where prison officers get anything remotely like that. The starting pay for a police constable is 28,000. Now the highest rate for a prison custody officer is 24,000. So you can see, that there's a massive disparity. Yeah, a massive disparity. Mind you, it doesn't seem to work too well with the police. I don't know if you've been reading the news lately, but according to a report I read last week, there was a police constable imprisoned, arrested and remanded in custody. He attended an alarm, a 999 call, and when he got there, believe this or not, he raped the man that had made the complaint. Physically raped him, and ended up in custody himself. Imagine that. You got somebody breaking in the house, you dial 999. The policeman that comes holds you down and buggers you. What kind of a world is this? Also, I read a report about a police sergeant in Avon and Somerset who had been going to nightclubs and inappropriately molesting and fondling females against their desires. They didn't want this, but they got it anyway, and he ended up being dismissed from the service. But what kind of a carry-on is this? Anyway, the world's gone mad. Don't forget to see me tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'm going to read you here. This is a poem that I wrote with my grandson Aaron when he was staying with us when we went camping once, and he woke up early in the morning. I said, "You have a good night's sleep?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You've been dreaming?" He said, "I've been dreaming." He said, "I've been dreaming of a big fat tree." I said, "Seriously?" That's what he said he'd been dreaming of. So I had my guitar with me, and I said, "Oh, well, let's write this song." So we sat down together, and I wrote this song with my grandson Aaron, who was about 9 at the time. I was dreaming of a big fat tree. I was climbing, there was you and me. When we got to the top, what do you think we could see? It was a big fat tree. We saw flowers, birds in the sky, children laughing to a lullaby. There was peace at last for you and me at the top of the big fat tree. I was dreaming of a big fat tree. I was climbing. There was you and me. When we got to the top, what do you think we could see? It was a big fat tree. We saw people in foreign lands. They were happy and holding hands. Saw rivers running to the sea from the top of the big fat tree. We had struggled, the climb was tough. You helped me when I'd had enough. Yes, together, you and me, we climbed the big fat tree. I was dreaming of a big fat tree. I was climbing, there was you and me. When we got to the top, what do you think we could see? It was a big fat tree. Big Fat Tree by John G. Sutton and Aaron. That's it. Don't forget, tomorrow at 7 p.m, folks, here. And don't forget to like and subscribe.